Okay, then any reason we cannot proceed with sentencing today? All right, Ms. Notoff, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the first statement will be from John Woodworth, Alex's father, but I believe it will be read by a friend of his. No? By me. Okay, it'll be read by me.
Okay, and just again, keep in mind that when you read, just read at a pace that the court reporter can sustain.
At Alex's memorial service, we had over 300 people attend, and we received well over 500 cards. It was touching to see how many people Alex had touched over his short life. In one of the cards, we found a letter from some man we didn't know. He told us that his son was suicidal but ran into Alex at the Racy's coffee shop where Alex worked. The two of them started talking, and the boy told Alex about his intent to kill himself. Alex was able to talk him out of it and helped him find the resources to deal with his issues. The father ended the letter letting us know that his son was alive because of Alex. As much pain as we have felt over the loss to us. What is hard, if not harder, is knowing that if Alex had this much impact in only a few years, how much more of an impact he could have had if he had a full life. It is this loss of potential that hurts as much as the loss of Alex himself. By killing our son, not only has Ezra robbed my wife and myself of our son, but has made the world a darker and colder place by destroying the light that Alex could have been.
Okay, thank you. And that's John Woodworth?
Yes. The next statement is from Joan Woodworth, Alex's grandmother, that she would like to have read as well. Ezra McCandless lured my grandson to a remote location with the express intent of murdering him. Alex was our oldest grandson, who we spent every minute with growing up and continues a very close relationship with through college. We took the time once a month to drive the hour and a half to see him, take him out to lunch, shopping, and just spend time with him from the time he started college in Eau Claire. We often picked him up or drove him back after weekend or holiday visits. These were some of our most cherished times with him. Her selfish act has robbed our entire family of any possibilities of seeing him reach his dream of becoming a professor, of spending another birthday, weekend, lunch, or holiday with him. Ever see him get married or have children of his own. These were all robbed from us. His loss has been the worst nightmare of our lives. We have suffered great mental anguish, unbearable grief, and loss. We have not been able to have a joyful holiday in 2 years. Robbed each year from joy and only knowing sorrow of the one who will never be with us again. This has also greatly affected his parents and younger siblings. Due to a hearing we attended, my husband Marv had a heart attack and spent 20 days between 3 hospitals last December. The health toll on us can't be measured. Knowing that she intentionally killed him for selfish reasons, stabbed him 16 times, watching the blood and life drain from his body, is a picture that I live with every day. Watching her reactions at the hearing and trial, knowing that she didn't even show an ounce of concern, remorse, or sadness for his loss, was something I believe shows her true character. As a Christian, I know that God has forgiven me much in my life, so I must also forgive her. However, I do know that God expects accountability for our sins and actions. I then feel it is only right that she does suffer the consequences of this brutal, selfish murder by spending many, many years in prison and get mental help. I feel if given the opportunity, she definitely will kill again. And my prayer is that she will never be able to harm another person like she did Alex, or put another family through what we have been through.
Thank you.
And I believe the next will be Scott or Amy Clark, the uncle and aunt to.
We do need to take a break, but we will return to Ezra McCandless' sentencing hearing on the other side.
Much of their evidence was contaminated.
Wasn't the evidence staring you in the face?
In other words, sloppy damn police work.
On the next episode of OJ 25.
We are going to go out to 4 locations.
They stood in the same place where Nicole Brown Simpson's body was found. It's an eerie feeling to stand at the scene of death.
An all-new original true crime series, OJ 25. New episode Thursday night at 9/8 Central. Only on Court TV.
You took a life. You took away a son, a brother, a grandson, a nephew, a cousin, and a friend. Alex was loved by so many. He did not have 1 ounce of meanness or anger in him. He indeed was about giving and helping. He was funny. He was kind and respectful. He had such an intelligent and witty mind. He was such a kind and loving man that despite him knowing how unstable you were, he was still willing to give you compassion. He left with you that fateful day believing he was going to help you in some way, and instead you took his life. He definitely is not the monster you attempted to portray him as. Seeing and hearing how you brutally took his life will forever be etched in our minds. Although we try to replace that with fond memories of Alex, there will be a lifetime of emptiness for our family, and especially for Alex's parents, Kim and John, and his younger siblings who looked up to him. What more heartbreaking than the loss of your child? Your world is turned upside down, and a piece of your heart will be missing forever. Alex touched so many people's lives in the 24 years he was with us, and now we have been robbed of seeing what his potential could have been. He had great potential of touching many more people's lives. As we would hear it argued in court by this defense team, that Alex could have been up walking and talking for up to 30 minutes with his injuries. We heard that as Alex could minutes. And what more awful to imagine is your child or family member suffering for any period of time. You caused pain and suffering to Alex, and you have caused pain and suffering to our family. You were never the victim, and there will be no forgiveness from us for what you have done. This is our last chance to advocate for Alex and the precious life that you took. We know this won't bring him back. Having seen how Alex's life was brutally taken by you, we want the harshest sentence of life in prison. Going through this process, it has felt as though we have had to go through losing him again. You took a life, and we can only hope the rest of your life is misery, as the rest of our life will be misery, missing Alex and wondering where Alex's life would have taken him.
Thank you.
Next, we have another aunt, I understand, who will be taking the stand, Krista Hall. So the one you just heard was Amy Clark, again, victim's aunt. And, you know, she almost spent some of her time describing the victim and defending him and saying he is not the monster that Ezra said he was in her testimony, but rather kind, respectful, intelligent. Next witness, Krista Hall, taking the stand. You can see Ezra McCandless there
Okay,
with
and,
her
When you
attorneys.
start, can we just get a spelling of your name, how Krista's spelled?
Krista, last name Hall, Hall.
Thank you.
Sister to Kim Woodworth and Alex's favorite aunt. That's been an ongoing joke amongst the aunts with all of our nieces and nephews from the time they were little enough to bribe with candy. There's a quote that I read not long after Alex's death, and although I don't recall the author, I wanted to share it today because of its simplicity, which rings true in regards to grieving. Mourning is one of the deepest expressions of pure love. As we continue to mourn for Alex, and will continue to honor his life by sharing the memories he left us with over the years. We've all mourned for a loved one in our lives and experienced the heart-aching depth of despair that creates. Even if you didn't know Alex, human nature is to be respectful of the family and show some empathy or compassion. Going into the trial, we weren't sure what to expect, but I knew although it might be awkward, I certainly wouldn't have any hard feelings against Ezra's family. And I thought surely they might feel the same about us, right? There were no words, no idea what to expect. When my sister Kim said good morning to one of the family's members of Ezra as we entered the courtroom one of the first mornings, there was no reply, no eye contact, nothing. I was appalled and angry. My sister lost her son. For those of you that didn't know Alex, to put it simply, he was incredibly smart and witty. We all looked forward to seeing him during the holidays, noticing the changes that take place from a high school graduate who goes off to college, watching him develop into the young man that he was, finding his place in the world, pursuing his interests. Conversation with Alex was never boring or dull. Until this trial, I don't think any of us really understood what an incredible writer he had already become. The brief excerpts that we heard in court were only a fraction of what he was trying to say, and yet it was plain to see that his gift for philosophical studies and theories was apparent. He was a thinker, analyzing, studying, and questioning every aspect of life and love, and submersing himself into philosophical theories of other writers. Anything that gave him inspiration to write. He would have been an incredible philosophical professor, and he had the ambition to pursue his education and earn a doctorate. There's so much to life that he had yet to experience. A lifetime of wonder, exploration, love, friendships, and memories, and you, Ezra, took that away from him. Selfishly. Sadly, he'll never experience what it means to truly love and be loved by another. But perhaps if there's any comfort in knowing, even if for a brief period of time, he thought he was in love and happy with you. It's been 1 year, 10 months, and 16 days. And Ezra, while we continue to mourn Alex's passing, it's hard not to notice that throughout the trial, we never saw any sign of sadness, shame, compassion, or the slightest bit of remorse in what you had done. You're so caught up in your own lies and behavior, consistently taking advantage of those around you. You took somebody's life. It was never a situation of self-defense. Maybe for Alex as he struggled trying to save his own and get away, but never for you. In the years to come, you're going to have ample time to yourself. Rather than continuously thinking about how you've been wronged or what society owes you, I ask that you start reflecting upon your actions. Stop thinking about yourself as the victim. As we've learned throughout the trial, it seems to be an ongoing excuse for all of your poor decisions, lack of accountability, and actions in life. Everyone you see in this courtroom today has suffered some type of traumatic event or been victimized in some way. Life is hard. If you are lucky enough to experience freedom again someday, do something good. Get a job, be responsible, take ownership. of your life and contribute to society in a positive way. And if you're lucky enough to find someone who will look past your faults and accept you for what you've done and the person that you are, just as Alex had done, treat them well, love unconditionally, and expect nothing in return. Beyond the violent wounds that you inflicted on his body, the pictures of which were horrific, lest we forget the unseen emotional wounds that you've created as well. You disregarded his friendship and compassion. He was there for you when you needed a friend, when you needed a place to stay, when you needed comfort and a soft place to fall. He was there for you. You knew he accepted your past and accepted as you were when you were together. Remember the quote, "Come as you are, flaws and all." You made him believe that you actually loved and cared for him because it was convenient for you at the time, when that was no longer the case and he was more of an obstacle in your grandiose scheme and plan. You discarded his feelings and ultimately his life. Your actions have pierced the heart and soul of those who loved him. Our family, our community filled with neighbors, former teachers, classmates, coworkers, and so many friends he's made over the years. Those wounds will never heal. Ezra, you cannot fathom and will likely never know the love that a mother has for her child. For that itself is truly a blessing. And I hope you never have the opportunity to experience it, because I don't think you're capable of truly loving another person and nurturing another human. My sister Kim has not only lost a child, but had to endure the trauma of knowing how he died, and endured a public trial. And then listening to you, Ezra, and the defense team create a fictional story of what happened, painting Alex as a demonic person. It's incomprehensible. I can only imagine the agonizing heartache that tears through her every day and night. As a mother myself, I can't pretend to understand. But my heart aches and my tears flow, not only for Alex, but for my sister. Behind her smile and her kind, gentle demeanor is heartache and agony. She's stronger than anyone I've ever known, putting everyone else's needs before hers. Her faith runs deep. She exudes patience, love, and acceptance to everyone she meets, just as Alex did for you.
My name is Dale Hall. I am an uncle-in-law to Alexander Woodworth. I want to apologize up front, as I've been a part of the system in law enforcement for 25 years. I don't want to remember dates of bad things that had happened, because the dates are what come back to haunt us in law enforcement. So I'll give estimates on dates in my statement. In late March of 2018, I was asked by my family to see if I could get information because Alex was missing. When I got a hold of the investigator that day, I was advised that Alex wasn't missing, and that Alex was at the medical examiner's office. Being in law enforcement for as long as I was, I knew why he was at a medical examiner's office, because I knew he was dead. And then offered to do death notification for the family, because this family, the family that Alex was part of, the family that I had been part of for 22 plus years at that time, family is their top priority. And then went and spoke with Kim, Alex's mom. At that time, I destroyed her. by giving her the worst information that a mother could get. I then called John, as he's away on business, and then I destroyed him by giving him the worst information that a father could get. After speaking with John, I then went to my mother and father-in-law's house, Alex's grandma and grandpa, and I destroyed their lives as well, giving them the worst information that anybody could have. I had given a lot of death notifications in my 25-year career, and I will say that this has been the most difficult because this destroyed me as well. Over the next several months, I sat idle, which also destroyed me. But that hurt was nothing compared to the pain of the family not being able to lay Alex to rest. As this system, the system that I've been a part of for so many years, jockeyed with Alex's body, labeling him as evidence, keeping him from his family, was beyond any part of reasonable, objectively reasonable, or even humane. Around 4 months after Alex was murdered, we finally got to lay him to rest. Just 2 months after Alex was found murdered, there was a request that the defense be allowed 60 more days to hold on to his body so they could work and do their work with the information given by the state. That's my request for the honor. 60 years. 1 year for every day that Alex was withheld from us, laying there, and with us not being able to touch him. As I looked at the photographs of the injuries that you had suffered, Ezra, I agree that like is like. And what I mean by that is, the marks that you admitted to doing yourself were exactly like the marks that you accused Alex of doing. If you believe that, like is like the jury must have, then you can honestly say that the knife was never in Alex's hand. Now that I believe that the knife was never in Alex's hand, why do I believe that? Because of character. We all know people and people's character. I could tell you and tell everybody in this courtroom that Alexander Woodworth never raised a knife to you to hurt you in any way. There was no self-defense. He just didn't have it in his character to hurt anyone. So, if the knife was never in his hand, then Ezra attacked and destroyed one of the most caring people in this world. She took away one of the most beautiful minds that I've ever known. People lose friends, family, cousins, uncles every day, but to lose a child should never happen. To bury our baby, Kim's baby, is not the way that life goes. We watched for 15 days in this trial where Ezra's family was able to speak, hug, and touch her, and we had to sit watch, knowing that we'd never get to touch Alex again until we are not bound to this earth. Watching that was very painful. I ask they give the victims us the same benefit. We'll never have to sit and watch Ezra laugh, touch, hold her family again until we are unbound by this earth and get to be with Alex. I hope that she stays in prison for as long as we all live, the friends, the cousins, mother and dad. I've always preached that the system has two prongs. First prong, to rehabilitate, to give offenders the tools that to be productive members of society. Second prong, to protect society from offenders that can't be rehabilitated. Ezra shows no remorse for what she's done. There is no AA group or prison program that will be able to give her any caring for human life. I ask the judge to please protect society. Protect future victims from suffering the way that Alexander Woodworth did on that cold March day. where he was driven to an isolated area, attacked and murdered, alone and afraid.
Thank you, sir.